everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So, a miscellaneous spoiler happens right after a different spoiler season, but before the actual spoiler season for this one. Apparently, I believe it's the birthday of this character, so that's why it was revealed. At least that's what I heard. So, let's jump into it. Gladiolus Amicitia? My apologies if I'm mispronouncing that. I did not play this Final Fantasy, at least I think all of that in depth. Anyways, a 6/6 human warrior for 6 mana in Gruul. When it enters, search your library for a land card. That's right, a land card, not basic. Put on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle and landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, another target creature you control get +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. So this is a commander that I think a lot of people might sleep on because, well, a lot of people tend to do that just when it's it's an uncommon commander. It's one that costs a good amount of mana. Yeah, like, what can I really do with it? No, you can do a very, very, very interesting deck around this one. Again, this is not just tutoring up basics. This is basically like Golos when it comes to the tutor ability. Again, getting a land on the battlefield tap, sure, but you do go get any land out of your library. And of course, well, I'll point out a couple of them, but you can build your entire deck around certain lands that you can go and tutor up and, yeah, have a great build. Or just go and get, well, a great land for you to really use and abuse that landfall trigger. And of course, with that landfall trigger, that is a decent pump effect again for landfall +2/+2 to any other creature. So not this one. Yeah, you could Voltron with this commander, but not with its own, trigger, not with its own effect. You're not pumping itself with that. That being said, there are certain creatures out there that you can really take advantage of that other decks aren't able to. So you can really take advantage of certain kind of cards and certain kinds of strategies that don't all see that much play, which I absolutely love when a commander gives you that avenue. So on this episode, I'm going to break down, well, what kinds of cards work well with this, what types of decks you might want to build around this, and again, just how it might not seem like much at first, but this is actually a very exciting commander that you can do a lot of cool things with. So, first of all, let's just tackle a few lands, and yeah, at the very least, like in Evolving Wilds, like a fetch land type card, essentially, tap, sacrifice, go get a base land to play, tap, then shuffle. Any kind of a fetch land type card obviously is going to be good for a landfall type strategy because, well, you want more landfall triggers, and this is basically just, +4/+4 and trample essentially, or +2/+2 across two separate bodies and trample just on a land, plus all the other landfall triggers that you might have out there, so do keep that in mind. That being said, again, when it comes to this commander tutoring up a land, one that you can just double up on right away, something like a Cabaret Courtyard, these like ETB auto-sacrifice ones that you don't have to tap, this is a way to get double landfall triggers right away because, again, the commander does put the lands into play. Tapped, enters the battlefield, sacrifice it right away, search life for a basic mountain or forest or plains. You're not doing that with this deck. Put on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle, you gain 1 life. So again, basically a way to immediately double up on that landfall trigger from your commander. Now, when it comes to other things as well, of course, bounce lands are a great way to really take advantage of landfall triggers as well. Land and a battlefield tap, enters bouncing land back to your hand, and it can tap for 2. So being able to go tutor up one of these lands can be great in a lot of different ways, especially if you've got the, you can play additional lands in a turn, or those creatures that can tap to put more lands from your hand directly into play, or ways to untap this land because it does tap for more than 1. So being able to utilize those ways for not only landfall triggers, but also to use and abuse the amount of mana that you're making, that can be fantastic. Speaking of which, though, and I'm going to point out a couple of cards that are a little more expensive than I usually like to point out in these episodes. First up, Dark Depths. Actually, less than $2. I thought this one was above 2. There you go. So you can actually build a budget-friendly deck around this card if you really want to with this commander, because there aren't too many commanders out there that can specifically tutor for certain cards. This one does. Legendary Snowland, enters the battlefield, tap with 10 ice counters on it, pay 3, move an ice counter from it. No ice counters on it, sacrifice it. If you do, create Merit Lage, a legendary 2/2 black avatar creature with flying and indestructible. So, yeah, if you want to build a Merit Lage deck, you most definitely can with this one. This commander on ETB is going to go this one. You can do it again to go get, like, Thespian Stage, and therefore, yeah, get your Merit Lage out and have fun with that. And also, again, it is a 2020 flying indestructible. In your commander's ETB, the landfall trigger can actually really help you out with that, too, being able to give it +2/+2 and trample. In case your opponent's all flyers, no chump blocking my Merit Lage. Next up, though, Field of the Dead. Okay, there you go. A little more expensive right there. Again, $31. I did not realize this is all the way up there right now. Enters battlefield, taps for a colorless. Whenever another land is battlefield to control, if you control 7 or more lands with different names, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, you can pretty easily get there. I mean, at the very least, again, just with the 2 colors that you do have, well, yeah, you've got forest, you've got mountains. You can also go get snow-covered forest and snow-covered mountains when it comes to, like, basic land tutoring. But, of course, your commander also tutors for any kind of lands as well. You can get there quite easily. So, yeah, take advantage of the landfall triggers. Make a zombie army with this. And you can build the entire deck around that pretty much if you want to, as long as you've got ways to get it back. We'll talk about those here in a little bit. Gaia's Cradle. Yeah, of course, if you've got $800 lying around or you just proxy it, there you go. Legendary land, it can tap right green for each creature you control. Again, when you've got a commander that can actually specifically tutor up lands, you can do some incredibly powerful things. You could go with a Valakut deck if you want with this, too. There's a lot of different land synergies specific, outside of just the landfall synergies that you're already going to be having by getting those, again, the actual, like, Evolving Wilds type lands, the bounce lands, etc., etc. There's a lot of different avenues for you. Next up, now being in these colors, there's only so many ways to actually blink this commander, but yeah, Conjurer's Closet is now a budget-friendly way to do that. $1.05 for this gem, artifact for 5. Basically, at your end step, freely blink one of your creatures. So being able to do that and blink your commander, again, if you're going for that Merit Lage type strategy, you can of course get the Dark Depths right away. You can go get the actual, combo card with the Thespian stage, and there you go. You've got that. If not, you're obviously just using and abusing, the ability to get more and more lands, of course, with your commander. Not necessarily taking advantage of, again, okay, that landfall trigger getting me some extra power, but of course taking advantage of other landfall triggers, maybe ones that make you creatures, etc., etc. That being said, of course, you can double up on that right away with something like a Flame Shadow Conjuring or Molten Echoes if you really want to go in that direction too. Enchant for 4 mana. Whenever a non-token creature enters battlefield control, you may pay a red. If you do pay a token on the battlefield, let's copy that creature. Gains haste, exile, begin next 10 step. This, of course, can help you out with, well, any of your creatures getting an extra secondary copy of them for just an extra mana. That's huge, but for your commander, again, on that ETB, yeah, you won't keep the commander around the token copy of it because the legendary rule, who cares? You still get that ETB for just a single mana, which of course is well worth going and tutoring up any land out of your library and putting it directly into play. So yeah, outside of doubling up your other creatures, which again, we've got some really heavy hitters or ones that we can make into heavy hitters, some really amazing effects. Yeah, doubling up your commander for just 1 mana every single time it comes into play can be absolutely huge. And this is a type of commander as well that it's going to be very easy to get it back out. You might even have ways to sacrifice your commander because you're like, oh, okay, yeah, sacrifice you, that's fine. Maybe to something like Greater Good, draw some cards, and then you can replay your commander very easily because you are actually ramping every single time you get your commander into play, so do keep that in mind. That being said, when it comes to ramping, well, yeah, you can also take advantage of certain creatures out there that normally you wouldn't be able to, not guarantee to be able to get through, but with your commander, again, with that landfall trigger, that extra +2/+2, and trample, most importantly trample right there, you can get through with some extra damage. A 2/2 Raccoon Rogue, Prosperous Bandit for 3 mana. It's also got Offspring First Strike. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, create that many tap treasure tokens. So again, if you don't have any pump effects for this, you're like, okay, I hope I get my little 2/2 First Striker in play and through, on an opponent. That being said, with this commander, again, you've got a way to pump it. You've got a way to get extra power onto it. And of course, with certain ways, you can do that at instant speed. Okay, I crack my Evolving Wilds in combat, get some extra power onto this, get some extra damage through, get some extra treasure tokens. So you can do a lot of cool things with that. Varchild, Betrayer of Keldor is a fun one as well. 3/3 Human Knight for 3 mana in red. Whenever it deals combination to a player, that player creates that many 1/1 red survivor creature tokens. Provided your opponent's control can't block and they can't attack you or planeswalker you control. On top of that, whenever Varchild leaves the battlefield, gain control of all survivors. So basically, a way to dish out a bunch of creatures for your opponents to utilize against each other, and then when this gets dealt with, you gain all of those creatures. So you can kind of build a massive army that just is kind of causing chaos, and then you can actually gain it once this goes away. And again, if you've got those sacrifice outlets like the Greater Good type cards, you can actually determine when that happens with this card. Or again, if you've got the blink effects like a Conjurer's Closet, again, when it leaves the battlefield, you get all those survivors. There you go. Next up, Port Razor. Doesn't necessarily care about how much damage it's dealing, it just cares that it's dealing damage. A 4/4 Orc Pirate for 5 mana in red, deals combat damage to a player, untap each creature you control. After this combat phase, the traditional combat phase, Port Razor can attack a player it has already attacked this turn. Basically, a way to get a lot of extra combats, which can, of course, be very, very, very beneficial to you. This doesn't have any kind of evasion. It's got no way to get through, essentially. But again, this commander gives it that avenue by pumping it and giving it trample. So as long as you just get 1 point of damage through with this on an opponent, you are getting that extra combat. You untap it, and you know what? Let's pump it further with some more landfall. Let's hit another opponent. Let's just keep things going. How about Hydra Omnivore, though? An 8/8 for just 6 mana Hydra deals combat damage to an opponent, deals that much damage to each other opponent. This really takes advantage of, again, granting trample and also that pump effect, because that pump effect is kind of tripled with this in a way, if not even more so, because you're able to, again, get that damage through. Again, attack the opponent that's got the least amount of defenses up. Again, you're going to be able to trample through thanks to that landfall trigger, dish out that damage, and then all of a sudden that spreads to your opponents as well. Even if they've got better defenses up, it does not matter. This is a really good thing to take advantage of. Again, creatures that have, well, great combat damage triggers, but you can't guarantee that in other ways. But with this kind of a commander, not that you can guarantee with trample, but it really does help, especially with something massive like this, to say, yeah, not only am I massive, but also I've got a way to get that damage through with that trample, and now I can pretty consistently get that trigger, which is going to be pretty amazing. Or how about Dream Pillager? 4/4 dragon with flying for 7 mana, deals combat damage to player. Exile that many cards to the top of your library till the end of your next turn, basically, until end of turn, I should say. You may cast spells from one of the exiled cards. So, being able to impulse draw based on the damage that you're dealing, yeah, that can be very spicy. And again, essentially with each land, now it's basically impulse draw 2 with this. So, swing through again. If an opponent has some flyers, you're still going to be able to get through with some damage with that trample, or just, yeah, get a bunch of damage through, essentially, with that +2/+2. And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I hit for 8 damage, and all of a sudden, I get basically a secondary hand this turn that I can utilize. A lot of temporary card advantage to take advantage of. Next up, though, how about a card like Scepter of Celebration, an equipment for 3 mana in green, +2/+0, and trample to the equipped creature. Whatever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create that many 1/1 green and white citizen creature tokens. So, a way to, again, just keep stacking these, combat damage triggers. Put this on something else that cares about combat damage even more. You get a little extra power, you get that automatic trample, which is nice. But yeah, your landfall can pump even further with this and grant you, well, a multitude of citizens that you can then utilize to just terrorize your opponents, which can be absolutely great. Speaking of which, Plague Mirror. Something very simple like this, something innocuous like this, just a simple mana dork for your deck, a 1/1 mirror for 2 that can tap for any colors. That's great. It's not really taking up a spot in your deck, it's just a little bit of ramp for you, but it does have infect, meaning that, oh, I can turn this into a win condition just by getting a bunch of lands into play, and all of a sudden I am hitting an opponent for maybe a 2-shot KO, maybe even a 1-shot KO with this in a turn. If you get 5 lands in play in a turn, which of course is quite doable in this color combination, yeah, you can just decimate an opponent and take them out of nowhere again with this seemingly non-threat that can become the biggest threat on the board in no time. Or how about Moira Marauder? A double strike creature that is low to the ground. You can really take advantage of something like this because, again, it kind of doubles up the value of each of those landfall triggers. It's also a 1/1 Goblin Warrior for 2 mana. Again, double strike. Whenever a Goblin or Orc you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. Play that card this turn. So again, you just got to get a little bit of damage through, but obviously the double strike makes it so you're getting it twice, which is quite nice. That being said, again, double up that landfall value, basically being, okay, like basically +4/+4 every single time. So yeah, something like this can hit incredibly hard. Some other things to consider, though. How about one that applies to other creatures? Just caring about other things getting through. Sakiko, Mother of Summer, a 3/3 Snake Shaman for 6 mana in green. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, add that much green until end of turn. You don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. So, yeah, again, not necessarily caring about itself getting through, but caring about your other creatures getting through and dishing out damage. And again, you've got plenty of ways to do that, plenty of ways to take advantage of it. And all of a sudden, yeah, getting an absurd amount of mana to utilize on your second main phase. That can be absolutely a game-ending play. Speaking of which, Orin Frostfang, taking advantage of Death Touch can be great with this commander. A 2/6 snake for 5 mana in green. Attacking creatures you control have Death Touch. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Helps out in both ways, obviously. First of all, just getting through with damage again, being able to get a lot of card advantage. This is absolutely incredible at helping with that. That being said, with this commander specifically, again, granting Death Touch to your attacking creatures is huge because, again, Death Touch plus Trample equals, well, kind of a cheat code in that all you have to do is assign 1 point of damage to a creature that you are, trampling over. All of a sudden, that creature is taken out, and the rest of the damage is just going through. So again, if your opponent's just blocking one creature to one creature, you just need to assign 1 point of damage. And if they're trying to block with more, take them all out and still get damage through anyway. So yeah, Death Touch plus Trample, again, a little bit of a cheat code and a lot of fun. A kind of another thing to consider is that, well, there's not too many ways to do this, but certain cards like Emberheart Challenger take advantage of that targeting. A 2/2 Mouseworth Haste and Prowess for 2 mana in red. Whenever it becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, exile the top card of your library. Until the end of your turn, you may play that card. So basically, a trigger, it's kind of like Heroic. Heroic is only for actually casting spells, not for triggers. But yeah, basically Heroic-ish, the Valiant. But it counts whenever you are targeting it with an ability. So again, your commander's ability targets, you say, okay, cool, Impulse Draw. Great, I get some extra value off of that. You only have to target it once to actually get that value again per turn. So yeah, you can do a lot of things with something like this, and the few other cards that do exist that benefit you when you are targeting. Next up, though, when it comes to getting more and more of those landfall triggers, yeah, something like Ramunap Excavator can be absolutely massive for you. A 2/3 Snake Cleric for 3 mana in green. You may play lands from your graveyard. Very simple, very effective, but being able to do that is massive, especially again when it comes to a commander that can tutor up specific lands for you. Again, literally just tutoring up, say, a Cabaret Courtyard or an Evolving Wilds allows you to then keep utilizing that land again and again and again out of your graveyard to keep getting more and more landfall triggers. Again, basically guaranteeing 2 landfall triggers per turn as long as you got the basics in your deck, but being able to essentially guarantee those landfall triggers, get so much value out of those lands, and of course, always hit your land drops too. And obviously, you're going to build in other ways, okay, play additional lands this turn or whatever, essentially. So being able to essentially get those lands again and again and again and again out of your graveyard, this can give you so many avenues to victory. And of course, again, if you build your entire deck around like, oh, Dark Depths, Thespian Stage, and you're trying to combo with it, essentially, yeah, make sure you've got a way to get that land back. Or Gaia's Cradle, make sure you've got a way to get that land back in case someone does remove that land. That being said, really quick, let's bring up an incredibly expensive card with Scape Shift. Yeah, obviously a very good card for a landfall-centric deck. Sorcery for 4 mana. And green, sacrifice any number of lands which allow for that many land cards. Put them on battlefield, tap, then shuffle your library. Basically a way to say, hey, how many landfall triggers do I need? Oh, okay, all my lands, just sacrifice those, 10 lands, whatever it is. Go get 10 more lands, get them into play. So many landfall triggers, so much value to be had. And of course, like combo lands too. If you really need to with this, you can too. It's any lands that you're tutoring for. That being said, it's an expensive card. There's, of course, other great ways to, well, take advantage of landfall triggers just with regular ramp. This is Renewal, a solid card. Sorcery for 6 mana in total. Go tutor up 3 basic lands on battlefield, tap, then shuffle. You gain 7 life. So a good amount of value for you. Again, basically +6/+6 and trample to something, or spread that out, by +2/+2/+2/+2 and +2/+2, however you need to do it. That being said, again, this is the type of commander that benefits you for doing something you already want to do in Commander. Ramping, getting ahead of your opponents. You can do a lot of exciting things with it. So again, this is the type of commander that I can see players just, okay, I'll skip it. I don't need to pay attention to that. Just because it's uncommon, just because it's a decent amount of mana, but not realizing potentially that, again, that ETB isn't just go get tutor up any basic, which is still a decent ETB, obviously, but this one is tutor up any land card, and because of that, it really changes the strategy around it. It changes what your potential is for it. Again, you could go Merit Lage combo deck if you really want to go that way. You can go Gaia's Cradle if you want to drop $800 or proxy the card. Or you can just go, okay, Cabaret Courtyard, ensure I've got ways to get that land back out of my graveyard again and again and again to really take advantage of those landfall synergies. You do a lot of exciting things with this, and again, utilize some not often as used cards, or utilize some cards that, again, are really cool and really fun, like a Hydra Omnivore, but again, don't have that inherent way to get that damage through that they need, and now you're like, oh, okay, cool, I've got a way to get that damage through and to terrorize my opponents in multiple ways. So again, if you are interested in this commander, make sure you check out that card list link in the description below. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. As always, comment below with your thoughts on it, and of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one.
This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you.
If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.